review. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my single and tag team competitors. This is your host for the Smackdown Rebound. We have to change that name due to maybe potential legal reasons. But I am your host, Fritos, and always with my wise man, Coach.
Fritos, always a pleasure. Thank you, my Booker of the Year, and, shall I say, Host of the Year as well.
I love you, Coach. And behind scenes, we have the man, the myth, the legend. Without him, we wouldn't have any of this. Virgil, that's for you. Please don't mute me. Coach, how's your Friday night been?
Well, I'm just looking for the last hour of my life and how I could get that back from watching the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight.
Oh, I've got plenty of thoughts, which we plan on discussing about the WWE deal this Sunday with Netflix and potentially a doozy there. But it doesn't matter. We may have lost our life, an hour of our life for the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight, but it's okay. We had 2 great hours of Friday Night SmackDown. You ready?
Let's do it.
I'm ready. Let's set the tone, baby. Friday Night SmackDown started off with Cody Rhodes coming out. Surprisingly not in a suit. Old black outfit, cut off t-shirt. Saying he was looking for Kevin Owens for what he did to Randy Orton. Instead, Nick Aldis came out and said that KO was not in the building per his request, and they want a back and forth bit about the whole situation. For a few minutes, Cody said he wouldn't wait for an answer for long. And spoiler, doodaloo. Next week on Friday Night SmackDown, we're going to have a face-off between Kevin and Cody. Your thoughts?
I thought what Nick Aldis did to really keep the tone of the storyline was excellent. I mean, that was the severity of the situation with the pile driver in the early days of wrestling, was how severe it was, and now that it's a banned move. I mean, he even said, like, the reason why we banned that move is so that we don't have this generation in wheelchairs in 20 years. And you think about it, the pile driver took years off of Stone Cold Steve Austin's career because of that. And it's so realistic at the same time of the storyline. That's why I think they're really buying into that illegal move and making the consequences worse, because if you were at your job and you did something that was banned, you were probably get fired or reprimanded. And that's how they're treating this. They're treating it like an everyday job if someone were to violate a company rule. So I think they're doing a great job of it, and tonight just enhanced it.
Same. I mean, increasing the storyline, you've shown more tension between Kevin and Cody a bit, and showing a little bit more character from Cody's side. And yeah, and just, the whole argument we've been having, is the pile driver illegal move or not, for a bit. So it kind of, officially, says that it's illegal. Big Daddy C. No, you're not here. But yeah, I'm talking to you. Hope you watch this. Sick son of a bitch. Sorry. But also, play on with that. If we didn't have the pile driver, we could have potentially had a Mike Tyson versus Stone Cold Steve Austin match now, instead of Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Just saying. I'm just saying.
I agree.
But the first match of the night was a triple threat for the women's U.S. title with Bayley, Hogan, B-Fab, and Candice LeRae fighting for the semifinal spots. LeRae sent Bayley out of the ring so she and B-Fab could trade some offense. As they fought into a break, it seemed like WWE booked this match to have B-Fab a lot this time. She's got a lot more screen time, too, which I'm liking. The fact that she's getting back in the ring, good. She deserves it. But ultimately, Bayley was able to get the pin on B-Fab with a roll-up to advance to the next round. Your thoughts?
So, initial reaction, I hated it because I thought BFAB should have won, but I also understand like they're just getting her back in the ring after being in a managerial role, so maybe they were testing the waters to see what the reaction was, and the reaction when she came out wasn't very good. Like I don't think there was any reaction, but as the match progressed, then the crowd was starting to get on her side of like, okay, yeah, now we want BFAB, and I thought Candice LeRae did a great job too. But I know the reason why they picked Bayley was because they want to get a little bit of legitimacy in this tournament. It sucks though because the whole point of the mid card is to get the women who are not in the main event spotlight their shine, and I feel like that just having one match wasn't good enough for Candice LeRae or BFAB. They should get at least one more to showcase their stuff. I understand why they went with Bayley, but I don't agree with it.
Same. I mean, first off, about halfway through the match, it became my shit break unintentionally. I bought a new cereal the other day, the Fiber One cereal. I didn't realize it had 18 grams of fiber, and that went through me. Pretty rough. Dear Lord, I hate my life. I wanted to, end everything on that toilet. But it's a different story for another time, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, it was kind of weird seeing how she didn't have much of a pop. And slowly, you can see the crowd starting to get into it. And I agree. They're trying to make the mid-card title, this new one specifically, just give it a little bit more shine. I mean, they don't have Charlotte there. They don't have any of those big stars that would be on the main event to do it. So they're going to at least give it to Bayley or give her some shine in the tournament. So, I mean, we still don't know who's going to win it. I'm still hoping for, who did I say? I don't even remember. I might have said Bayley. Oh, well. Virgil, you could correct me. You could put the notes down like you did.
I thought you said Chelsea Green.
Did I say Chelsea? I don't remember. Someone did.
All I know is that Mishin got a pretty good pop when she appeared on screen in the backstage segment, so I'm feeling pretty confident about my pick.
They might roll with her. I wouldn't be too upset about it. But anyways, next little segment in match. We have LA Knight coming out and basically, having a open challenge. And who comes out? Santos Escobar. Sorry, I had to do my Carlita voice. I apologize.
Oh, no, it's not your voice. It's the fact that it was Santos Escobar that came out.
Exactly. I think everyone was a little tired. I was tired. I go, of course. Of course. Beer break. He answered the challenge, but he wasn't alone. He had Elektra, Lopez, Angel, and Barreto. Were all present. Escobar gave a brief promo about Knight, ended up saying that he would rather face Barreto. This led to Barreto attacking Knight before the match could even get started. Even though these two are similar in size, they work very different styles. Barreto had a little bit of a more fast-paced work, who employs a high-flying offense, while Knight likes to use a wide variety of maneuvers. After a solid back and forth, Knight hit a BFT for the pin and gloating for a couple of minutes, and coming out of nowhere, we get the return of Shinske Nakamura, which, ladies and gentlemen, as your book of the year, I did predict this, that Shinske would come back and go for the U.S. title against LA Knight, which I'm excited for. It's been a while since we've seen him. I'm excited this is going to add more flair to the U.S. title, and it's going to give something more extra, too, especially if we get those promo packages of Shinske speaking in Japan, and we have the subtitles on the bottom. It's going to be great. But what's your thoughts on the match and the whole Shinske segment?
I'm disappointed that it was those guys that came out for the challenge. I thought it was actually a pretty solid match, and I thought Berto did a pretty good job. I'm wondering if tonight they were kind of testing the waters with some wrestlers who have kind of been pushed to the back of the line to see how the reaction would be. And I thought I mean, I thought he did really, really well, and I wouldn't be surprised if push for him and Angel are coming pretty soon, just based off of that. And as for Shinske, I mean, thank God. I'm just glad he's back. We've missed him, and I like the new look. If I had to bet, though, I bet we're getting a new entrance song with him.
Same. I didn't think about that, but if you notice in his wardrobe, did he have face paint on too?
He did, yes.
Yeah. Ooh, they're cooking. I'm loving it. I wonder if he's going to do almost like an Oscar thing with a mask too. Just potentially, just to change it up.
Know.
I don't know. But
we're definitely. I really feel like we're getting a new theme song from Shinske.
Same. But anyways, from the We Book It Boys, we are so glad you're back, Shinske.
Yes.
Kisses and hugs and everything else from us. Socks are on, so it's okay. Then going back, we have Sami Zayn and the Usos were shown telling Roman Reigns they were unable to find a fifth member. Before this, we had a little segment where Sammy, Jimmy, and Jay were talking about potentially another fifth member. Then Sammy going, I have a crazy idea. Where we never really had much of a follow-up from that. Which a lot of the speculations on social media was Cody Rhodes. I think it eventually would have seen something, but we didn't. So kind of odd. Reigns saved Zayn for, where is this going? It's jumped around on me. All right, then going in, we had a tag team match. Morrison Machine Guns versus the Street Profits.
Whoa. Hang on, Fritos. You kind of missed
Am I
some
jumping?
stuff with that segment.
Sorry. Apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I found my iPad. It took me like 10 hours. It was hidden in the couch. Sorry.
Yeah, it happens.
Immediately started brawling. Okay. Oh, yes, I do apologize. So after that, we had Solo Sikoa coming out with the Bloodline, makes their way to the ring. The OG Bloodline immediately followed. Then we get a special little treat of them going at it. Then after a bit, we figure out who the fifth member for the new Bloodline is. And the words of Big Daddy. See? It is Maui, a.k.a. Bronson Reed in there. Which, by the way, I honestly think he's still like a triple, twice removed cousin of them. But whatever. But he comes in just doing a bunch of splashes on everyone, going in there and rolling out of the ring. And we just have a stare down between the OG Bloodline and the new Bloodline. Thoughts before we go into the tag team match that I messed up. Sorry.
I mean, it started out just like a standard brawl. There was nothing really exciting about it, but the minute Bronson Reed hit, that's when I got more engaged because it's a fun twist. Now, a lot of people on social media are complaining about it. I don't see why, because this is something different. This is something that I can actually get on board with. We've been waiting for one of the other Fatus or somebody from the Anoa'i dynasty to make the appearance, but then you get Bronson Reed, who has been on a heater lately, and you insert him in the storyline. That just added more for me, more investment from me, because it shows that he is literally just wanting to destroy baby faces.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with that when you're a heel like that, when
and
that's
he's
your
going
MO.
with the biggest heel faction too, so it adds a little bit more flair. It's going to elevate him even further in his career right now too, or it's not current moment. But it makes it interesting for me because eventually that means Seth is going to get involved because he has ultimate hatred and a match with Bronson Reed this Monday. So you know the new bloodline is going to have to get involved in some way. And that just means that Roman and Seth are going to have to make up from everything from the whole Shield breakup to the past WrestleMania, because Roman had the chance to take out Cody and win, but instead he took his feelings out and took out Seth with the chair. Multiple hits. So honestly, when that happens, when they do make up, it's going to push Roman's babyface further and closer. So The Rock could be a natural heel when they go against each other eventually, and Roman will be that babyface.
Yeah, when people complaining about Rollins joining up with Roman now and how it's basically throwing out this past WrestleMania. If you think about it, Roman's whole heel run was because of the Shield breakup, and he had been looking for revenge. And the revenge plot was all centered around one thing, and that was when Seth Rollins hit him with the chair. That when he did that to Rollins at WrestleMania as payback, it was almost like that chapter of his heel run is done, or even just his heel run's done because he has achieved his full revenge. And so people need to kind of pump the brakes a little bit there and not freak out about moments, because that will still be a great moment even if Rollins and Reigns team up again. Because
and long-term storytelling too on top of
yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's just like when DX broke up the first time with Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Nobody batted an eye when they got reunited. Nobody remembered or brought up like, oh, but Triple H ran over Shawn Michaels with a car pretty much and attacked him. It was like, oh no, they're back together. Awesome. Like, people just want something to complain about right now. And they're saying this is a terrible decision. I've made some judgments on terrible decisions with WWE recently, and they've always came back and rubbed it in my face and say, nope, we got it figured out. So I'm gonna trust them on this one.
I'm going to, and the writers they have are great. So however they do write this out and they book it, it's going to be fantastic. So I'm looking forward to it. Let's just see what happens this Monday night on Raw Dogging Monday, your show.
Yes, sir. And I'm going to call my shot real quick with that match between Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed. I do believe the new bloodline is going to get involved, which will get Seth to even more consider joining the OG bloodline for War Games.
That is a perfect book in my wise man. I love you, Coach.
Thank you, my Booker of the Year.
But back onto it. The tag team match of Motor City Machine Guns, and Street Profits. It was a fairly decent match. We come out, we see Montez Ford kind of looking angry, a little just bitter. They kind of explain how they're a little bit upset, and they also mention about the alleged wrestler that switched companies and all that. You know, not really. I wouldn't say taking a shot at Bobby Lashley, just mentioning history that happened where he left and thought it'd be better on the green pastures. Decent match of them going back and forth and all that. Then we get interference from Tommaso Ciampa attacking the Prophet, which caused a disqualification on the match. Then Johnny Gargano came out and tried to, be the peacemaker, settling everything out, but Ciampa shoved him onto the mat and walked away, which is making more things interesting since Johnny's friends with Motor City Machine Guns, and just all this going on, eventual breakup's going to happen. Once everything calms down, Motor City Machine Guns try to apologize to the Prophets, but Dawkins wasn't having it and decked Shelley right in the face. He and Ford walked away, even though the DQ ending is never ideal, but stuff happens. But for me, it makes it a little bit more interesting because you're getting this more hillside from Street Profits. They're frustrated, they're upset. So this is going to lead potentially to a trilogy with Motor City Machine Guns and maybe boost up Street Profits potentially. Coach, your thoughts?
So what's interesting about the tag team picture now is we got three different storylines going on with three different teams pretty much. So we have DIY, we have Ciampa, who's I'm just going to already say he's turned heel. You got Gargano, who's trying to still be babyface. So you're wondering, when is DIY going to break up, or is Gargano finally going to turn heel? Then you got the Profits, which during this match tonight, they were talking a lot about the history of the Profits. They had mentioned they mentioned Bobby Lashley without actually mentioning him, with Montez Ford saying that we were promised something with somebody who's no longer in the company, and never delivered. And then even Dawkins talking about how maybe it's time for him and Ford to go their separate ways. Nothing, no animosity or anything, but just to see what it would be like if they were both singles competitors. So it's almost like it's going to be a mutual breakup, or we might get a brand split where they break up the Street Profits, and I think that'll be beneficial for them. And then you got Motor City Machine Guns, where are the new champions, and they are immediately the target, and everyone has heat against them right now. Like, I mean, on in-ring heat, not actual backstage heat, like storyline heat, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole storyline is that these guys, brand new to the company, just came in, immediately got a title shot and won. And all of these tag teams are bitter against them, as they should be, because it's like somebody coming into your job, brand new, get there for 2 weeks, immediately gets a promotion ahead of you. How would you respond to that? You would feel pretty bitter too. So it's just three great storylines going on at the same time in the tag team division on SmackDown, which has been much needed, because there has not been the tag teams division on both sides ever since WrestleMania has been lacking good storytelling, and we finally have that with these three teams.
I agree. I mean, the DIY stuff's going to lead to a singles match with Ciampa and Johnny. So, and we've already talked this numerous times. I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but it's going to be a great feud. We've seen it plenty of times on NXT. I'm glad it's going to finally be on the big screen on SmackDown. And that whole Street Profits thing, if they do a mutual breakup, I can see it launching Montez's career a little bit further. Dawkins, I'm not for sure. To me, he's kind of more the weaker link in the Street Profits, almost kind of like how Otis was a little bit. Even though I'm a big Otis fan, he is a little bit on the weaker side. Not saying Otis is weak. Trust me, he's strong in different ways with his comedy and all that. So it kind of like his storyline's been stalemate, and we haven't seen Otis in a hot minute. So I don't know what they're going to do if they do a split up with the Street Profits. But yeah, the Motor City Machine Guns are just bystanders in the storyline. They're just taking beaten down from both sides. So they're just in there. So they're going to add more stuff to the tag team. So I'm just going to wait and see how it plays out a little bit. But it's going to be great storytelling. Now we go to the main event. Sorry, I only did that only for Big Daddy C, since he's not here, because his favorite superstar was defending her title, Nia Jax versus Naomi. Fairly decent match. A lot of strong offense from Naomi going on. But then eventually, before this, we had a little backstage stuff where Bianca and Jade saying they're going to be there for Naomi. Bayley coming in there, and Bianca still has a little bit of a grudge against Bayley. It's been going on for a hot minute with this grudge, saying, I still remember all the heel stuff you did. We still don't trust you, but we'll be there for you. Going on, then we get a little backstage stuff. We see Liv and Raquel Rodriguez taking out Bianca and Jade. So she has no backup during this match. Then we get some interference from Tiffy, doing her typical heel stuff, distracting the ref, then hitting on Naomi. Then a little bit more offense from Naomi coming in, regaining it from Nia. A lot of false counts, kick outs, count outs, well, that stuff. Got phlegm in my throat. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Then we see Bayley come out, take out Tiffy, helping Naomi. Then out of nowhere, we see Candice LeRae coming out and taking out Bayley. And then we see Nia, take the win, which is interesting because it's I know they weren't going to switch the title over to Naomi yet, but it's building up more for the War Game stuff going on, which I don't know if Bayley's going to be the fifth member, because we already kind of speculated with Io, Naomi, Jade, and Bianca. We still don't know who that fifth member is. With the Bayley and Bianca stuff, who knows? But we kind of figure out who the heel side is going to be. What's your thoughts on the match?
So on the match, first off, Naomi did phenomenal with everything that she did. And I mean, they got me a couple times, and I talk about that when, even though I know the outcome that's going to happen, if they still get me to jump at a false finish, I know that they did their job, and they did that a couple of times for me with Naomi with those finishes, because I was thinking, oh my gosh, that they might actually pull the trigger, and then
Dang.
they didn't. It was like, okay, well, still good on you for that. As for the development of the women's war games, I said this on Monday, on Raw Dog Monday. I did not understand why Bianca was cool with Io, knowing that she was still had beef with Bayley. But it kind of answered. It was somewhat answered tonight when Bianca said something, or not Bianca, when Bayley said, Naomi, hey, you got to watch out for Io. You can't trust her with the backstabbing and everything. And then Bianca came in and said, oh, you're one to talk about not being trusted. When Damage Control was first created, Bayley was the leader. So I'm thinking how Bianca's logic is that she doesn't hold a grudge against Io because Io is just really a follower.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she became their own faction by themselves, they were more baby faces now. Or her interactions with Io and Damage Control were more as baby faces with Io in charge. So I see where they're going with it. So that's, again, one of those times where I say, WWE, this doesn't make any sense, and then they come back the very next show and throw it in my face and say, hey, this is actually what's happening, and it makes sense. So do I like it? No, but I'm still going to watch it to see how they do this. If they go the route that I think they're going, then I'm back in.
That's fair. I mean, same thing. I'm just going to look to see who the fifth member is, because, I mean, after that, who knows, maybe they're going to write off Bayley for maybe a week or two so she's not involved, and maybe where people are thinking who's going to be that fifth member, they're probably still going to let people judge and guess, unless there's spoilers out there, since this Monday Night Raw is pre-taped, so I'm assuming there's spoilers out there. I got words muted on all social media. You ain't going to spoil me, you little freaks. Stop spoiling stuff. In this day and age, that's the best part. See what happens in live time. Stop spoiling. But yeah, I'm just going to wait and see how everything plays out. Now to the final shot of the show. We have a beaten, broken down Roman Reigns. Hair in a mess, distraught, grabs his phone. We're thinking, who's he going to call? Who is he going to call? Tell Siri, call the wise man. Then we hear, doo-doo-doo. We're sorry, the person you're trying to call is unavailable. So we don't know who or what's going to happen continuing on with the Bloodline Civil War, but potentially, who knows? Maybe he's going to reach out to Seth or Cody. So we'll leave that to speculation. But personally, I'm thinking, just, play back, Solo did destroy one of Paul Heyman's phones. The only phone that he did not destroy was the Rock phone, since he does have two phones, one for the Rock and one for Roman. All I'm going to say is Paul Heyman might be working with the Rock, and the Rock's a Paul Heyman guy now. Thoughts, Coach?
I don't know. I'm not buying that one yet, because the whole story arc of Roman's tribal chief came from Paul Heyman. And now if this were like right after WrestleMania with Roman back and Heyman's been with him for a while, I think yes, then we could see that happening. But because Heyman's been gone and he basically did a face turn with when he didn't acknowledge Solo, I don't see him working for The Rock, anything like that. It didn't make sense to me for that to happen. But I am curious to see how they're going to bring Heyman back into the picture now. Because that was the whole way they communicated, was basically through their phone calls. And if they can't communicate, how is Roman going to get the distress signal out? And maybe that leads to maybe not Seth Rollins, but another Paul Heyman guy coming back at Survivor Series, which I have seen rumors for, and that is one CM Punk.
Ooh. I heard that rumor. I was thinking he was going to go after Gunther, but I didn't think about the bloodline story. That would be interesting, since he did have a little bit of a segment with him when he came back and got attacked by Drew and was taken out for a short time. So it would make sense, full circle. Long storytelling, baby. That's what I love about you, Triple H. But ladies and gentlemen, my singles and tag team competitors, that has been our show. Just to give you a heads up, next week I am out. I have a longtime friend returning. We're going to get some drinks, get some dinner, catch up. You know, the 4 Fs. Faith, family, football, and wrestling. The F is silent. Just saying. So we're going to catch up and have a good time. Don't worry, I got you in good hands. The main man himself, Virgil's going to take my spot. But we also need you to do one thing. We need you to like, share, subscribe, and spread the word about our channel. Our goal is to hit 2,000 subscribers by Royal Rumble. So please, help us out, and we'll help you out. We'll give you some better content. I'll do this in my wrestling gear again. Watch back that WrestleMania stuff is gold for me. Right, Coach?
It was pretty good.
Thank you.
The Halloween one was probably the better one, though.
Don't worry. I've got a bigger budget now. I'm going to get more and better gear, folks. Don't worry. But this has been Fritos, and as always, Coach, from the Smackdown Rebound. Remember, keep those pencils sharp and keep on booking. Thanks for tuning in.